welcome us and tell us who the donors are for this
Yes,
festival.
hello everyone. Welcome to our session. I'm very happy that you're here. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm also very happy that Janet Wong is joining us in this momentous Lit Youngstown Fall Literary Festival online. So what I'm going to ask you, first of all, would you please rename yourself? And what that means is that rather than seeing you as, let's say, Lucy's iPad, if you go and put your cursor on your video photo, you'll see 3 dots, and one of them will be to unname yourself or rename yourself. And so if you could do that and put it into the chat, then that would be a great thing for you to do, because then we'll know who you are and where you are from. That's the first thing, okay? So hover the cursor over the video of your face. And also I'd like to ask you as an icebreaker, could you please, tell us the favorite thing that you read, favorite book, even an article, whatever, and also, or your child's favorite book of the year. We would love to see that. So, do that, drop that into the chat box. And I am, to introduce myself, I am Anthony Manna, and I'm helping with the Zoom session today. I'm assisted by Diney Rosales. As I said, we will keep everyone muted so that we can give our speaker our full attention, but we hope to see some lively discussion in the chat box. And of course, your questions could go there as well as your comments. So please stay with us and enjoy. We would like to take a few minutes here, or a moment, to say thank you to our sponsors: Ohio Humanities, Ohio Arts Council, Northeast Ohio Master of Fine Arts, Youngstown State University English Department, yay! WYSU, that's our local radio, NPR, the Community Foundation of the Mahoning Valley, and the Youngstown Foundation. We have to always say our work today would not be possible without their thoughtful contributions. And so we carry on. And now let me introduce my friend and my poet extraordinaire. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Janet Wong. Janet is a graduate of Yale Law School and a former lawyer who switched careers to become a children's author. I find that always fascinating to say. She has published more than 30 award-winning books for children and teens. Her books include super interesting poetry collections, entertaining picture books, and heartfelt novels. Young children enjoy the poems in Good Luck Gold that feature Janet's Chinese and Korean heritage. In Night Garden, Poems from a World of Dreams, she takes children on an enchanting journey through the familiar and surprising qualities of dreams, accompanied by haunting illustrations. And in The Next New Year, her poems, along with vibrant illustrations, tell of a child's determination to face a new year with hope and optimism. Janet has also joined her colleague, Sylvia Vardell, to create a widely popular series of poetry books called the Poetry Friday Anthologies and the Poetry Friday Power Books that introduce poems you're going to love to read out loud with anyone of any age who will join in and also get caught up in lively, playful activities that make the poems come alive while also nurturing language skills. I know, because I use them all the time in the schools that I go into. Her latest collaboration with Sylvia Vardell is Hop to It, Poems to Get You Moving. Oh, there it is, 100 poems by 90 poets, fun factoids, thematic mini lessons, tips to maximize student learning, and much more. And on October the 15th, when the book appears, you can breathe, stretch, wiggle, dance, march, stomp, and reach with all these wonderful poems. Janet was born Wong was born in Los Angeles and now makes her home in New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey, with her family. Welcome, Janet Wong. Ooh.
Thank you, Anthony Manna. Great job. Great job. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be presenting this program for Lit Youngstown. This is an amazing group, and this festival is just one of the many things that they do. So most of you are out there watching this on the YouTube channel, and you're not able to actually chat live, but go ahead and if you're able later on, put questions in if you can, and I will look for that YouTube link and try to answer them. Well, let's start with moving around. Should we do that? Let me share my screen and you can see a poem from the brand new book. This is a poem that I didn't write, but that I curated along with my friend and colleague Sylvia Vardell. We had hundreds and hundreds of poems, and we chose the very best 100 to share with you. And this is Monsters Don't Dance. Wherever you are at home, get up on your feet and let's move to this poem that I'm going to read, okay? All right. Monsters Don't Dance by Anne Ingalls, one of the 90 poets in the book. Monsters don't dance, we stomp. Monsters don't prance, we clomp. Thumping and clumping all over the place with a howl and a scowl and a growl on each face, jumping around as we bippity bop. Can you do that? Pumping our arms as we hippity hop. Striding and gliding, we romp and we clomp. Monsters don't dance, we stomp. Well, was that fun? Did you have fun doing that? I did. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about writing. 5 fabulous ways to become the best writer you can be. But since we're here virtually, I think we should actually have a virtual hello. So, you know, I'm going to stop sharing this just for a minute so you can see what I do. Here is the poem, Ways to Say Hello. All right. So, foot wave. Oh. Air bump. Jazz hands. Heart thump. Thumbs up. Clap hello. Chicken wing, elbow. Rabbit ears, fish face. I bring you greetings from inner space. Well, let's see the poem. I'll read it one more time. And this time, from where you are at home, go ahead and do the movements, all right? Get those feet ready to stretch. Foot wave. Air bump. Jazz hands. Heart thump. Thumbs up. Clap hello. Chicken wing, elbow. Let's see those wings move. All right, good job. Rabbit ears. Fish face. I bring you greetings from inner space. Give yourselves a round of applause, okay? All right, great job, guys. Well, let's talk about staying at home, which we've been doing a lot of. This is another poem from the book, Staycation by Michelle Schaub. Some of you might be feeling, oh, like you just need a vacation. You need to get away. And we haven't been able to get away recently. Most of us, at least, right? Here's a poem where Michelle captures the feelings that many of us are feeling right now. Our summer vacation did not go as planned. No trek to the ocean, no waves and no sand, no hike up a mountain, no ride on a plane, no lakeside, no cabin, no tour on a train, no travel for us, though we loved to roam. But we were together, safe and at home. My dad pitched a tent and mom filled the pool. Our backyard staycation was still really cool. You know, the great thing about writing, one great thing about writing is that it can take you on journeys. And my first tip to becoming a better writer is let your writing take you on journeys. Well, let it take you on many journeys. One thing you're going to want to ask yourself is, where do you want to go? What do you want to learn about? Where do you want to go today? Well, maybe you want to learn yoga. And if so, then you can look for a book on yoga. My book Twist is just one of many, many books on yoga. You can actually even go online and find videos that will teach you how to do yoga. And chess. Who here knows how to play chess? Yes? All right. Chess is a great way to exercise your mind. And I wrote about it in Alex and the Wednesday Chess Club. Or maybe, do you like science? Make some noise if you like science. All right, I love science. And so when my colleague and friend, Sylvia Bardell, said, let's do a science book, I thought that will be so much fun. And I contacted how many? I think 78 of my poet friends, and we all wrote poems about science for the Poetry of Science. Whatever you're interested in, whatever you want to learn, wherever you want to go, look for a book and read about it and write about it. Well, here's a poem. Now's your chance on that very same theme from Hop to It, the book that's coming out on October 15th. Now's Your Chance by Karen G. Jordan. Alone and bored, friends can't play. Now's your chance to break away from what you were to who you'll be. Stronger, smarter, easily. Create a task toward one good goal. Complete it, repeat it. You're in control. Grow new muscles. Write some skits. Finish puzzles. Practice splits. Learn to juggle, bake a pie, knit a scarf, give chess a try. Coding, backbends, violin are yours to master. You can win a brand new you, bit by bit. Small steps work, so stay with it. And here's a poem, again on that same theme about learning new things called What We're Learning. This is a poem I wrote that's an acrostic. Do you see how the first letter in each line, if you read those letters down, form words, and the words they form are new skills. Nelson is learning fractions. Ella is learning to spell. Winnie is learning how to paint. She paints trees really well. Kim is learning robotics. Ingrid is learning to code. Leon is learning 3 languages. We're all in skill building mode. So think about what it is you want to learn. And maybe what you want to learn is how to write poems. Then try writing all kinds of poems. Like, for instance, rebus poems. This is a poem I wrote in the voice of Ben, one of the characters in Pet Crazy that I created. Ben really, really, really wants a dog in this book. And he wrote, because he was given a cat, he wrote, I love my cat, but I still want a pup. I know one thing I won't give up. And after a dog, I might get a frog and maybe even 2 turtles too. I'm pet crazy. What about you? Rebus poems are super fun to write. Try writing one. They make great gifts too. Names. This is another super fun type of poem that you can write. This is an Abacidarian. And in this poem, which I again wrote in the voice of Ben, pretending to be the character Ben, I have names of different pets for each letter of the alphabet. Angel, Buddy, Cookie, Duff, Eagle, Finny, Gus Gus, Huff, Ice Bear, Jam Bear, Cuckoo, Lily, Monster, Nothing, Olaf, Pretty, Queenie, Racer, Summer, Tina, Ugly, Venus, Winter, Xena. I like yellow. Zip sounds fun. Maybe just pet number one. At this point in the book, because it's a book that of it's a book that's a story made up of a lot of poems. At this point in the book, Ben is dreaming of the dog he's going to get, but he doesn't get. But anyway, he's dreaming of the dog he's going to get, and he's wondering what he'll name it. And so here he's brainstorming lots of different names. This could be a really fun thing for you to write. Tip number 2 for becoming a better writer, take chances and know that you will miss sometimes. Yes, you will miss. You know, some people ask me, how many books have you written? Well, I have 35 books that are out, 21 that were published the regular way with big publishers, and 14 that I published myself with my friend Sylvia Vardell. We started a small company and we decided to start publishing our own books. So I have 35 books that are published, but how many have I written? Over 200. Over 200. Yes. So you might think, wait a minute, those are terrible odds. What happened to all the other poems? What happened to all the other stories, right? Well, they didn't all work out. They didn't all work out. And I don't feel bad about that because you know what? If I give you a basketball and I tell you, go stand at the free throw line and shoot, are you going to make it every single time? No, you're going to miss. If I tell you, you can shoot from anywhere on the court. Go ahead, here's the ball, shoot. Are you still going to make it every single time? Are you going to make it every single time, even when you can pick your own place? No, because you know what? The greatest players only make it about half the time. This is the field goal percentage, not for this recent season, but for the season before. Steph Curry, 0.472. That means that if he put it up 10 times, he missed 5 times. He missed half the time. LeBron James, the King James, 0.51. He put it up 10 times. He only made it 5 times. Kawhi Leonard, same thing. So you know what? You're going to miss sometimes. Sometimes you're going to write something and it won't be quite what you hoped for. And that's okay. You and King James, you and J.K. Rowling, because you know what? Her first book, Harry Potter, was not bought right away. J.K. Rowling, believe it or not, got a dozen rejections before anyone wanted to publish her book. And she's proud of those rejections. She tells people, I didn't give up. I didn't give up. And finally, somebody wanted to publish Harry Potter. Tip number 3, share your writing with friends and family. When you write about your favorite food, when you write about a birthday party you wish you could have, when you write about the trees or the flowers, when you write about feeling happy or feeling sad, look for someone in your family or a friend to share it with. Professional writers, we call this a critique group, that we share our writing with members of our critique book group so we can get feedback and make our writing better. Well, one of my first listeners that I shared my writing with was my grandfather, my gong gong. And my favorite of all my poems is a poem that I wrote called Gong Gong and Susie in a Suitcase of Seaweed and More, about Gong Gong and his dog, Susie, and how one night she almost killed a skunk. Well, you'll have to look for that book to read it. But when I told him, when I read him this poem, We were standing in the kitchen and he was leaning on the kitchen counter. When I read this poem to him, he went like this. He went, and his face was turning red and no sound was coming out. And I thought, oh no, I just killed my grandfather with a poem. Well, I didn't kill him with a poem. He was laughing. He was laughing so hard. He loved hearing what I had written. Make sure that you share your work with the people you love. Bilingual. I'm not bilingual. I'm half Chinese and I'm half Korean. I was born and raised in California. I wish I could speak Chinese or speak Korean, but I can't. I don't. And part of the reason is a very sad reason. It's when I was little, when I was 4 or 5 years old, sometimes people would make fun of me for being Asian. And so I didn't want to learn Chinese. I didn't want to learn Korean because I thought, well, if I learn those languages, then people will make more fun of me. And who did I hurt? I hurt myself. I really wish now that I spoke those languages. If you are bilingual or someone in your family is bilingual, make sure that you put some words from your own language, from your home language or the language of your heritage into your poems. So here's one of my favorite poems of all time. It's called Bilingual. It's by Alma Florada, and it goes like this. Oh, do you hear my dog? I speak dog too. He was saying, you know what that was? That what he just said just now? What he said just now was woodchuck, woodchuck, woodchuck. Well, anyway, Bilingual by Alma Florada. Because I speak Spanish, I can listen to my grandmother's stories and say, familia, madre, amor. Because I speak English, I can learn from my teacher and say, I love school. Because I am bilingual, I can read libros and books. I have amigos and friends, enjoy canciones and songs, juegos and games, and have twice as much fun. And someday, because I speak 2 languages, I will be able to do twice as much to help twice as many people and be twice as good in what I do. Tip number 4, practice makes you faster. Sometimes you sit there and it's just, oh man, you can't think of what to write. You can't think of how to write it, and the time ticks away. Well, practicing makes you faster. There's a story I like to tell about how I have 5 poems in a book called The Book of Animal Poetry, the National Geographic Book of Animal Poetry. Nobody else has 5 poems in that book. I have 5 poems, and you know why? It's because I write quickly. And I had submitted some poems at the request of the anthologist, J. Patrick Lewis, who lives in Ohio. I had sent him some poems months before the book was finished, and he liked those poems. I think he took 2 of them, and then I got a call from him. I got a call from him one day, and he said, "I need you to write 3 more poems, and I need them in an hour." I think that something happened with some of the poems that had already been approved, and maybe they couldn't reach an agreement with those poets. And all of a sudden, he needed 3 poems and he needed them right then. Well, why did he call me? Is it because I'm his best friend? No, I'm a friend of his, but I'm not his best friend. He has other poets who are better friends. Did he call me because I'm the best poet? No. He called me because I'm fast, and practice makes you faster. And so I wrote 3, I think actually maybe even 4 or 5 poems, maybe 6 or 7 poems, and sent them to him and said, here you have a choice. You can have a choice of all these poems. And so he chose 3 of them, and I ended up having a total of 5 in that book. Here's one of them, Raccoon. This cartoon bandit rubs hands together, ready for a midnight crime. And you'll see that poem is very short. That poem is very short. It's a haiku, I think. This cartoon bandit rubs hands together, ready for a midnight crime. Now, haiku don't always have to be 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables. But many of them, especially ones that we write today, and especially ones that we write in the English language, many of them are 5, 7, and 5. One thing about haiku is that it has to have a connection to nature somehow. And so here I have the raccoon out at midnight. And so there's a little bit of a connection there. I like this poem very much. A poem doesn't have to be long to be good. And haiku are a great example. Tip number 5, you are the only you. You are the only you. Celebrate your world. How to Love Your Little Corner of the World. This is one of my favorite poems by Eileen Spinelli. It's in a book that Sylvia Bardell and I did called The Poetry Friday Anthology for Celebrations, which has 156 poems in them, both in English and in Spanish, like the poem Bilingual that you heard earlier. And this poem is really about just looking around your world and making it a better place. So I'm going to have you help me do this as an echo read. I'll read the line, and then you, wherever you are, in your house, at your desk, at your kitchen table, all right? I want you to repeat the line after me, okay? So first we'll do the title, How to Love Your Little Corner of the World. Okay, now we'll do the poet's name, by Eileen Spinelli. And here's the poem. Help a neighbor. Plant a tree. Hug your friends and family. Be kind to pets. Feed the birds. Use your please and thank you words. Share a book. Take a walk. Someone's lonely. Stop and talk. Good job. Give yourselves a round of applause at home. Woohoo! All right. You know, it's so easy to make this a better world. Just stopping to talk to someone who's lonely. That's something you can do. Well, a poem can be a gift. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to write a gift poem. You're going to write a gift poem for someone in your family. Now, this is something that I do with kids, that I've done with thousands and thousands of kids all over the world. And I say, take someone in your family, mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, grandmother, grandfather, cousin, one person, and turn that person into a plant or an animal or an object, something. And kids have come up with great ideas. For instance, there was once a kindergartner who said, my mother is like a flower because she is so beautiful and she loves the sun. Maybe you know someone like that too. There was once a 7th grader who said, my father is like a compass. Sometimes I feel a little lost. I don't always know the right way to go. My father shows me the way. Do you know someone like that? Maybe you know someone who's like a map to you. Then there was a 3rd grader in Texas who said, my aunt is so sweet. My aunt is so sweet. She is like candy. And I said, Oh, what kind of candy would she be? Would she be like a cool peppermint? She said, no. I said, well, would she be like a tough red rope? She said, no. I said, well, what kind of candy would she be? And she said, well, she's a little nutty. So I think she'd be like a Hershey's bar with almonds. And she wrote a poem that went like this: You are like a Hershey's bar with almonds, nutty and sweet. Wouldn't that make a great gift? I think she gave it the title of her aunt, right? Like Aunt, whatever her aunt's name was, Aunt Michelle. You are like a Hershey's bar with almonds, nutty and sweet. Well, it can be so easy to give someone a poem as a gift. So let's write one. But you know what? When you write, you don't just sit down, take out the piece of paper, and boom, write. Well, you can. You can. That's a great thing to do if you can do it. But actually, I like to break it down into pieces. First, you think, then you draw, then you talk about it, and then you write. So, for instance, like right now, from where you are, I want you to think of someone in your family, turn that person into a plant or animal or an object. So, for instance, if I were to tell you that I have a friend who's very quiet, very gentle, very soft and small, and she loves to eat carrots all day long. She is a vegetarian and she is always eating carrots and lettuce. What kind of animal do you think she might be? Rabbit? Who said rabbit? Yes, she could be other animals too, but I was thinking rabbit. Or if I told you I have another friend, she's a young woman. She's very energetic, very bouncy. She has a little baby, and she has so much energy. She doesn't put that baby in a stroller. No, she puts that baby in her pouch and she just goes bouncing around town. Well, what kind of animal do you think she might be? I'm hearing kangaroo. And if you're saying kangaroo, you're right. That's what I was thinking of. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Yeah, I was thinking of that. Well, once there was a girl, fourth grader, she said that her uncle was a certain kind of animal that was big and loud and strong and hairy. What do you think she was thinking? I hear lion. Yeah, that could be a good guess. Yeah. I hear bear. Yeah, that could be a good guess. I hear Sasquatch. All right, that would work. Yeah. I hear gorilla. Yeah, all right. I hear elephant. Well, I guess they're a little hairy. Yeah. Okay. All right. I could see that. Well, so what I said to that girl was big, strong, loud, hairy. Those are all really good descriptive words, but I need a little bit more to transfer the picture you have in your mind over to me. Just a little more. And she thought about it and she said, well, he's big and strong and loud and hairy, and he loves to fish in the river for salmon. Fish in the river for salmon. What was she thinking of? What was her uncle? Bear. Yes, a bear. Well, and isn't it interesting? Fish, river, salmon. We only needed those three words to be absolutely certain. But if she had told us right at the beginning, my uncle is like an animal that likes to fish in the river for salmon, that would not have been enough. We might have thought eagle, right? So we really needed big, strong, loud, hairy, and fish in the river for salmon. So thinking is one part. Another part is drawing. While you're drawing, all kinds of decisions are being made in your mind. You're drawing a flower, and all of a sudden, maybe you draw a rose, And then maybe you have to decide, do I draw thorns or no thorns? Do I draw the rose as part of a living bush, or do I draw the rose in a vase as a gift for Valentine's Day? While you're drawing, you're making all kinds of decisions. Next, talk about your idea. Maybe you'll call up a friend and say, hey, you know what? I'm writing a poem. Can I talk to you about it just for 1 minute? And while you're talking, you might get some ideas. You might say, I'm going to write about how my brother is like a dog. And then your friend might say, oh, that's funny. What kind of dog? Would your brother be like a big, strong dog, or a little puppy, or an old dog that likes to sleep all the time? And then while you talk together, these ideas that are popping into your head and coming out of your mouth might end up making it to your page as lines. And then after you have all of this raw material, you can sit down to write. So maybe you'll try doing that right after we end this program. Tony, how many minutes do we have left in this program? Let's see. Oh, I think we only have 4 minutes. Is that right?
Yes, that's right, because it's 12:41 and we stop at 12:45.
Got it. So you know what? Here's a synopsis. Here's a summary again of the exercise that I described that I hope you will do at home. Take a family member, turn that person into a plant or an animal or an object for a gift poem. And now let's end with a little bit of poetry suitcase. In my suitcase, I have different things. And Anthony Manna, I'm going to call on you to pick one of these things. All right. Let me show you what I have. I have a shark. I have an astronaut. I have a kitten. And I have so much more. But why don't we go with those three things? Or how about we've also got a dog leash? Tony, what would you like to choose? What are you curious about?
Astronaut.
The astronaut. All right. The astronaut goes to a poem called Moonwalk, July 21st, 1969, by Susan Blackaby. This is from the Poetry Friday Anthology for Celebrations. And Susan Blackaby's father was an engineer on the team of engineers that designed Neil Armstrong's backpack. Yes. Here's the poem. Tony, can you give me a countdown? 10 to 1, and then you'll say blast off, then we'll make rocket noises, and then we're going to land on the moon. Okay? All right. Can you give me a countdown?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off.
Blast off. We're on the moon now, and it's very quiet on the moon, but you can hear this poem. Moonwalk, July 21st, 1969, by Susan Blackaby. Neil Armstrong landed the Eagle in a tranquil sea. Then he stepped out to moonwalk hop, moonwalk trump, moon plod, spring, jump, stride, bounce, leap. He left moonwalk tracks and moonwalk traces, the first footsteps across the face of the man in the moon. Was that fun? Was that fun? Poems can be fun. And you know what? Every once in a while, what I want you to do is to take a poetry break. Just 30 seconds to get your creative juices flowing. And here's one poem that you can use to do that, even when you're sitting down at your computer. All right. And this is from Hop to It, the new book that's coming out October 15th. Follow along with me. Tony, put your camera on because I want to see you do this. All right. Or don't put your camera on. Here we go. Deskercise by Julie Mayer. Raise your hands up in the air. Twist your body in your chair. Touch your nose and blink your eyes. This is how we deskercise. All right, Tony, move your feet and march in place. Pose a sad, then happy face. Flap your arms. It's time to fly. This is how we deskercise. Roll your head. I think we need to do this one a few more times. Roll your head. Roll your head. And finger snap. Shrug your shoulders. Clap, clap, clap. Drum your fingers. Look surprised. This is how we deskercise. Well, I'm going to turn it back over to Tony Manna so that he can say thank you once again. But from me, thank you so much. There are so many things that you can spend your time doing, and I feel really honored that you joined us here today. Tony, will you finish us off
I'm
here?
so energized. I'm so hyper right now. I can't wait to get up and start moving around. I got to go out into the woods and walk. Thank you, Janet Wong. That was fabulous. I appreciate it so much. Everybody, thank you for being here. And remember that there is a virtual bookstore. I have this in my hand, which is the reissue of A Suitcase of Seaweed and More. And what's so great about this book is that every poem comes with a prompt for writing. It is a fabulous treasure that I look at every day, every other day or so. I pick this one up because I read poetry at least once a day. I have to. It makes me think. Janet, thank you so much. Celebrate, 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 everybody. Thank you.
And one more big round of applause for Lit Youngstown and all the people who made this happen.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And don't forget the virtual bookstore, www.maxbooks.com. Thank you. Bye.